It's time for another episode of Local Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. You know, when it comes to business, there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. One is you can create a brand new business, kind of like what I have done here. Another way is you can buy into a franchise. And yet another is you can buy an existing business that's already there. And that's what we're going to learn a little bit more about today, because Morgan Branan owns the Avoca Flower Shop. And she bought this business a couple of years ago, and it was already successful. And she decided that this was an opportunity for her. So she was just going to dive in and see how it worked out. And it's worked out pretty well. So it was a very great conversation that I had with Morgan. We're going to bring you that today. Up first, Castle and Associates of American Family Insurance is your local insurance provider for all of your home, auto, life, business, and farm insurance needs. 4 convenient locations in Council Bluffs, Trainer, Bellevue, and Elkhorn. They are local and in your neighborhood, ready to help you navigate the complexities of insurance today. Travis and his team educate, advise, and simplify insurance, all to protect those things you cherish most. Give them a call for your free quote. Do you or does someone you love need in-home care? Home Care Advocacy Network helps you maintain your own privacy in your own space while still receiving care and support with a personalized touch. Aging in place can be critical for many people. Home Care Advocacy Network can meet those needs with an understanding that assisted living is best at home. HCAN of Southwest Iowa brings the personal touch to care at home in Council Bluffs, Glenwood, Red Oak, Clarinda, and all the surrounding communities. Visit hcan.com/Southwest Iowa to learn more. And don't forget to check out Elder Abuse Awareness Month. There's an event coming up in the end of the week on June 13th. It's called Aging Safely in Southwest Iowa Resource Fair. It's going to be at the River's Edge Park in Council Bluffs. HCAN of Southwest Iowa will have a booth there. You can stop in there and learn more. With us this morning, it is Morgan Branan. She is the owner of the Avoca Flower Shop. Great to see you, Morgan, this morning.
Hi.
It's looks like it's a nice bright day there at the flower shop,
Yep.
and yeah, it's I'm sure that you have been through a lot of stuff, just like everybody else has been at Avoca here lately.
Yeah.
You know, all the
Yeah.
businesses, but
hmm
now that the boil order has been lifted, has to be a little bit of a sigh of relief, right?
Yeah, the boil thing didn't really affect us much. It was more of the trying to conserve. The flowers didn't really see any, effect on whether it was this bad water or, before the boil. So, but it was more of, we have all these outdoor plants that now we just quit watering completely. So we actually had a guy come around that offered, he had a tank, and he was watering our outside plants for us. We just have a few left, but that was more of what affected us was, we have all these plants in here that, we're trying to conserve. So we were just trying to use like old bucket water to kind of, water our plants. So, but yeah, so far it's going fine, but I know the rest of, the businesses downtown, especially ones that we're trying to consume and bake and, do coffee, we're really affected by the whole boil situation. But yeah, I'm glad that it's over. So hopefully we don't have to go back into it. So hopefully it's all up from here, I hope.
Talk about your history a little bit, because you came in and bought an existing business, which I think is it's admirable and I also impressive to come at something like that and say, all right, this is what I want to do and this is where I want to do it. So talk about that history a little bit.
Yeah, so I graduated high school and then I actually just started working here. So I was working here when I bought it. So I kind of went into school for accounting and realized that maybe sitting down all day wasn't really for me. So I kind of like came and went to the flower shop. I was like, let me go try this. Oh, I don't like that. I'll go back to the flower shop. So everything just kept coming back here. And then when the previous owner was like, I'm going to sell, I was like, oh, maybe this is my chance, to own a business. I didn't really know what I was going to do, in the future. So, yeah, I just bought it, which was kind of intimidating because she had built it up to this, great business. So it was a little intimidating at first, but, having worked here, I think it was kind of easier. I kind of knew the ropes a little bit. I knew, who we worked with to get certain things. So I feel like that kind of helped me in a way. So yeah, I bought it in 2023 June, so almost 2 years ago. So yeah, a little bit has changed. You know, we've got a few new items in, but I mean, I bought a successful business, so we're just going with it. We still have everything that she had, you know, to provide for our customers. So, but yeah, so far it's going great.
How many things do you feel that you wish you had known from day one that you know now that could have benefited you then? Because I know that there's many
Mhm.
things that you don't know until it actually happens. There's no way you could know. So
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more of the back end of things. You know, like how soon before you know, a holiday you have to order things. So like, you know, I had to order Christmas and fall decorations in February, and I've already gotten, you know, Valentine's Day and spring vases ordered. And so I think more of that, like just having to work so far ahead. You know, working here you don't kind of see that. We didn't do a lot of that stuff. Just a lot of the back end stuff, all the boring, you know, bookwork and payroll taxes and all of that stuff. I think that was a learning, but also since I did accounting and I did work in an accounting firm, that kind of helped me know how to, you know, navigate that stuff. Um, but yeah, I would say definitely the back end of stuff and just like dealing with people, you know, as far as a management standpoint, like, you know, I dealt with customers a lot, but I never had to deal with, you know, anything, you know, controversial or anything like that. So now, you know, now the problem comes to me versus me saying, oh, let me talk to the owner. It's like, oh, wait, that's me now. So
that's me.
yeah. So that is a, you know, a little different. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't know. But, yeah, it's going well. And honestly, Lindsay, who I bought the flower shop from, has been like my saving grace. I'll call her and be like, what, you know, what do you do in this situation? So she's been very helpful to me. So yeah, but being a business owner is definitely different than working here. But it's still the same. You know, I still get to make flowers. I still get to, you know, deal with all my loving customers. I mean, it's still great. It's just, yeah, it's different being like, oh, I'm the person that people want to talk to versus me saying, yeah, I'll go get her, or she's not here. So yeah.
Do you think that you had a desire to be an entrepreneur before this opportunity presented itself?
Not really. I wouldn't say. I kind of just I don't know. It kind of just fell in my lap, honestly. Like I feel like it was kind of like I would hate to not have it be a flower shop, so it was like it maybe wasn't the right time. I was pregnant. I was, you know, like newly married. It was like a lot happening in my life, but it was kind of like if I don't do it and someone buys it and turns it not into a flower shop, like doesn't keep it a flower shop, I would be like, oh, I missed my chance, I guess. So I felt like it was just my call to just, you know, like, okay, you know, I know what I know about the flower shop, so let's just dive into it. But I wouldn't say I had like a desire, like, oh, I really want to own a business. But just kind of happened that way.
Well, you're talking about things that I didn't learn until later in life. That when we, you know, start nearing the end after we've worked for decades and everything else, we don't regret the things that we did do. We regret the things that we didn't do. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what you're talking about here. That this is an opportunity, and yeah, this might be something that I hadn't thought of before, but this seems like a good chance. So
Yeah.
let's find out. Let's
Right.
see. Let's
Right.
grab it by the tail and see how it
Yeah.
goes.
Like, why not? I mean, you know, so yeah, it definitely fell in my lap. And I think it being a successful business was helpful because I had so many changes and it was like, okay, I'm gonna have a baby, not be here as much. So it being successful already was kind of like, okay, we can keep it going, you know, with all these changes happening. So yeah.
What's it been like running a business in a small town? Because I talk about it on this show that it's different than if you had a flower shop in downtown Omaha. It would be different
Yeah.
because relationships are so much more important in a small
Mhm.
town as opposed to in a large metropolitan area.
Yeah, I would say I see a lot of the same customers. I talk to a lot of the same customers on the phone, you know, especially for local funerals and things. But, you know, like for Valentine's Day, I'm like, I know that all these people are going to call. And it's nice when I'm like, oh, I know who they are. Like I'll see the caller ID and I'm like, oh, I'll take it. So that's
Hmm.
really nice. And so we have a thing every Friday where it's called $5 Friday. So people kind of reserve a bunch up to three and then they come and pick it up on Fridays. And like we have consistently kind of the same people a lot of the time. So yeah, I see a lot of people almost weekly. So yeah, it's the support that everyone has for us, and then we try to give back as much as we can to, different things, different organizations that are fundraising or whatever it may be. But yeah, definitely the support is different. I think owning something in a big city would be like, I don't know. They just kind of think of you maybe as like just money. I don't know. Like just, oh, you're just income for me. But I think at the like here, it's like, oh, I know that this person likes this flower because we've dealt with them for years. So I think that's really helpful. You definitely, have a relationship with the people in the town and even surrounding towns that don't have a flower shop and come to us. Like, they're always like, oh, it's this person from, Neola or something. So even surrounding towns, surrounding schools, like you just start to know people. And when they call, it's nice that I know who they are. They know, that we'll take good care of them too. They know what to expect with us, but definitely the support from, living in a small town when, they know who we are and, is really helpful.
How much research do you have to do in the industry in order to be able to stay on top of things? Because I'm assuming that it's not the same product all the time. So, how much research went into that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just kind of learn as we go. Like, luckily, yeah, like, oh, people ask, is this flower in season? And it may not be here, but it might be somewhere else. So, I'm always like, let me give, my supplier a call and see. So I honestly don't do a lot of the research. I ask them and then they're like, yeah, I can get it for you or, something.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, sometimes I will say, can I get this flower during this time? But more of like the trends of things, I would say, is more like research, like, what's in the wedding industry right now or things like that. Um, or someone's like, I want something creative, that incorporates, a stone. So like more like that research of like, okay, how can I incorporate fresh flowers, with a stone or with a lantern or something? Trying to be creative, I would say, is more the research, than like, I don't know, by product, I guess.
I want to uh, ask you another question about. I know a florist in Council Bluffs, and we had her on another podcast that was actually about the trades. And it was about, folks in the blue collar world and things like that. And what my belief is that folks that are in your industry, that's the world you are in. You work with your hands. You
Hmm.
create things. You
Sure.
really are a blue collar worker. If you really think about it,
Sure.
that the
Yeah.
and there's so much creativity that goes into that, and there's so much hands on that
Yeah.
goes into that. And I just wanted to get your opinion about what you thought of that.
Yeah, it's funny. My husband works on bridges, so he is blue collar, and we will
Right.
say that too. We'll be like, and he'll be like, "You're," I don't know. I kind of I see the understanding. It's just hard for me to be like, well, I don't work nearly as hard as you do every day, but like definitely being on your feet. I mean, everyone will always say, working at a flower shop is my dream job. I mean, I hear that like weekly, and so it's like people just think I just sit back here and just like play with flowers and look at flowers all day. And like that is far from the truth. Yeah, I get to sometimes, like after this, I do need to make some flowers, but it's also, there is heavy lifting. There is, a lot of communication. You're talking a lot to people. You're on your feet all day. So yeah, I mean, I see where people, yeah, can say it's blue collar. It's just like, I don't know. It's hard for me to be like, well, my husband's definitely blue collar, and I don't work. I at least am in the air conditioning, so
Well,
that's
that's true.
nice.
That
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing though with what you're talking about. Is people think, oh, I would just love to be able to do that. When people find out that I have recorded a lot of audiobooks, they say, oh, wow, I would love to do that. Oh, that would just be my dream job.
Mhm.
All right, let me fill you in a little bit.
Yeah,
There's a
Yeah.
reason why. It's
Yeah, then why don't
actual
you just go
work.
do it? Why don't you
Yeah.
go do it? That's why we say, come on in. You can watch us all day. And like,
Right.
there's more to just playing with flowers. Like, that's
Yeah.
honestly like 10% of the job. I mean,
Yeah.
really. I mean, there's way more than that. So, yeah, but I find it funny when people say that. I'm always like, you come on in. I mean, we'll take you, but you're going to be disappointed when you're not just staring at flowers all day. You're going to be really
What
disappointed.
do you have set goals for yourself with the business moving forward? Do you have things in place that you say, okay, I want to achieve this and I want to achieve that?
Like I said, we're kind of just like still riding with how successful I feel like I
Sure. Yeah.
came into. But I would say definitely like I love doing weddings. I think I don't know. I just feel like I kind of navigate towards that. So I feel like maybe expanding more into weddings, like going to maybe like vendor shows and trying to, like expand, weddings. Like I have quite a few weddings this summer, but just, I don't know, maybe expanding on that, especially during slow time, which is the summer. Like, if I had a wedding every weekend, I would say that's where I would want to expand. So yeah, I actually did work at a wedding venue and I kind of liked even like the day of planner. So I've kind of talked about like maybe expanding services. I don't know how that will ever go, but I definitely love the wedding industry and doing wedding flowers. So that's definitely where I would want to grow. But yeah, I kind of just see what happens.
I think that again, the philosophy that I'm hearing from you is, and I've used this myself, that you know when you're coming into something that's already existing and that it's been working well, that job one is what I call the Hippocratic Oath, which doctors use: first, do no harm, because
Right.
you have something there that was successful. You don't want to mess that up.
Right.
So once you have that down,
Sure.
then look at growth from there. And it kind of
Yeah.
sounds like you're right at getting close
Hmm.
to, all right, I've
Yeah.
about got this down, because you're about 2 years into this.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, okay, everything's going well. We're still consistently, what everyone knows that we are. Yeah, it's just like, where do we want to expand from here? What do we want to do? We've done a few vendor shows of like having, fresh flowers there and taking our products. So, maybe expanding in that area. Downtown Avoca does have like a farmer's market.
Hmm.
But they already have a lady there that grows flowers from her farm. And I've always said, let her have,
Right.
we're a storefront. So, but trying to maybe expand to that, that area of like going to vendor shows and like here, have fresh flowers. Because there's not a lot of that at vendor fairs, I don't feel like. But yeah, it's just I don't know where it'll take us, but right now it's kind of like, okay, we're getting the gist still down of, I've been through each holiday twice now, so I know how it's all gonna go. So yeah, now it's like, where do we want to, do we want to change anything, or expand in any way? Because yeah, we have people that ask us for services that, we don't have, like, do you do, flowers and landscaping and stuff, and like, so it's like the want is maybe there for us to expand. It's just what we want to do.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just trying to figure that out first, and then we'll go with it.
You also touched on something there that is going back to doing business in a small town. Communities take care of each other. And what you said about, hey, there's a lady that's growing her own flowers here at the farmers market. That's her world. Let's not
Yeah.
try to zero in on that and try to take things away from that. Let's do what we do and let
Right.
her do what she does.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Because if you're doing business in Omaha, then chances are that they're going to do everything they can to get your
Right.
business from you.
Yeah, yeah, and she's told me the same thing. I don't want to arrange flowers. I don't want to, it's not like she's trying to take mine either. And like we've
Right.
had her like drop off her stuff here, and people have picked them up. It doesn't, bother me one bit. And I've actually called her in a pinch of like, hey, do you have this flower, right now? And she did. So, yeah, we just try to work together. And I'm like, I don't grow any of my flowers locally. Like, I don't get, my flowers are not from, our backyard here. So it's like, if she does, she's only in season for so long, her flowers. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to go down there and take that from her. Like, we're open all week. So people can come here and get flowers all week. They can go there during the farmer's market and get their flowers there, so.
Well, you have a passion for what you're doing. That is very, very obvious, and I'm excited to watch your growth and to see where you go from here. I think that you're standing right at still at the beginning stages, and a lot of excitement is ahead of you here. So I'm a little bit excited to be able to watch this and witness this from afar.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. It's definitely a ride to be a business owner. And I love working with all the business owners downtown, like the Main Street program. I mean, everything. Everyone's so supportive. I feel like everyone's always, how can we help? So, yeah, I definitely picked the right community to stay in. That's for sure, because they're great. So,
Absolutely. This is Morgan Branan with the Avoca Flower Shop. Thank you so much.
yeah,
I'm
thanks.
grateful you took some time. I know you're crazy busy, so I'll let you get back to work. But don't be a stranger. We look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.
And don't forget, coming up on Friday the 13th, it is Pour Into Avoca. So get on out, go back, enjoy a great meal, patronize the businesses there in Avoca, and show them some love. They really went through a lot over the past few weeks with all of the water crisis that was going on. So just yet another way that small towns pulling together to help each other out. And to me, it's kind of inspiring. If you need precision metal fabrication done right, look no further than Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs. Custom welding, large scale manufacturing, and they can even do laser etching. They're going to bring your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting edge technology. If you go to their website, foxcofab.com, you can learn more about what they do, see some of the signs they make. Some of them are pretty darn funny. And be sure to follow Foxco Fabrication online on social media. They put out videos about every other week. Very, very clever stuff, and some of my favorites. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. Fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. And don't forget about AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning in Council Bluffs. This is Travis Waldstein, and what I've been saying now for a very long time is when integrity matters, and when doesn't it, these are the guys that you want to get a hold of. So AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning for your HVAC needs, Waldstein Plumbing for all of your plumbing needs. Visit waldsteinplumbing.com to learn more. That's going to wrap up the show for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and had a great week, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful weekend. And, well, I'm going to be doing a little traveling. I'll tell you about that coming up next week. My name's Todd Studer. Have a wonderful weekend.